As every self-respecting caveman, I hold a firm, reasonable stance on every man's God-given right to sharp pointy stick, and so I also partake in recreational sharp pointy stick throwing. That recently threw me over for a loop, as I looked at the spear and thought to myself, everything that happened on Gentile launch could have been avoided. You see, ArenaNet did an original oopsie of trying to push damage fall-off as a weapon mechanic and got grilled on the forums, and so they replaced their stupid idea with just a stupid one of slapping more damage on top of Spear's already, by design, high damage. And so Core Burst and Spear 4 currently have plus 25% damage passive listed on their tooltips, while Spear 2 and Primal Burst have 10%, all against primary target. You have, by design of the weapon, a single strongest damage steroid in entirety of Warrior's toolkit applied on top of your highest damaging skills, by default, for free, as a weapon passive. Those same skills were nerfed, by the way, for doing too much damage. And this is what I find frustrating about Spear and Warrior in general. Every time anything is underwhelming in Warrior's design, ArenaNet's first answer is not to improve the design, but to worsen it by filling all the cracks with additional damage. But only thing that accomplishes is making the cracks stick out even more, because they usually have to nerf the damage of the very thing they were trying to fix by adding more damage. Fortunately, they seemingly started to see this, as we had rifle, axe and maces tuned up mechanically, not numerically. But that doesn't fix mistakes that already happened. There were two problems with Warrior Spear on launch. First, that Spellbreaker could abuse the Harrier Toss evade, because he can reset his core burst with his counter cooldown. And second, that Spear Marshal was too good for something that you can just whip out whenever. You know what would fix those problems? If you made the Harrier Toss into a regular weapon skill and Spear Marshal into a burst skill, you'd have both problems fixed without removing the evade or putting the annoying check. Not to mention, weapon would still be playable on Berserker because he'd still have the Harrier Toss evade while in rage. Then that would also remove the problems with core builds designed to spam 3rd level Harrier Toss at Zergs, because that skill would have 20 seconds of cooldown and not 8, so it couldn't be spammed that much. And of course, fuck the passive. Anyone who comes to the office and says, "You know what? Let's slap Berserker's power on top of a skill as a free passive and see what happens," should be first in line to the disciplinary automilker. The amount of problems with the design that we could have avoided just by swapping core skill with a burst skill and throwing away the damage passive really makes me sad, as we probably missed the only chance for Spear to be good on something other than the Warrior spec which carries bad weapons since day one of Path of Fire. Oddly, the same idea could be applied to Greatsword, with Arcing Slice and 100 Blades. Arcing Slice used to be for a long time the only good source of fury in Warrior's entire arsenal, and either Raging Berserker or Bladesman in general just didn't have access to it, which sucked and which still sucks. Moreover, Arcing Slice already doesn't scale its damage with Adrenaline, so it would be really easy to just paste it into the spot 100 Blades currently occupies. And putting 100 Blades in the burst slot and making it scale with Adrenaline would fix the problems with its power budget. You see, 100 Blades does right now completely ridiculous damage, which is supposed to counteract its stationary nature. So we would have to nerf it like by half if we uproot the thing. A small price to pay for mobility. Making it a core burst, however, would first of all mean it doesn't do the ridiculous when you're in Berserk, and secondly, Spellbreaker would only have the watered down version, so it wouldn't run off with it and cause problems. So, if we just swap these two, Berserker gets improved, Bladesworn gets improved, and its only net negative is for Spellbreaker, which likely won't mind and still benefit from the uproot. And beyond that, a lot of you liked when Arc Divider hit 3 times. If we make Burst in Greatsword to be the go-to source of multi-hitting cleave, we have the space in the budget to make Arc Divider the absolute buzzsaw that my fellow cavemen crave so much. But no, let's fucking bump the damage numbers, or even better, slap a fucking Grandmaster Strength trait on an individual skills, so we have to nerf the damage of those skills the very next patch and wonder why our warrior remains so bloody agitated all of the bloody time. Very bloody good job, bloody Arena. Thankfully, and this is a big cope thingy, they won't be able to pad Paragon with damage, because it's meant to be a support spec, and so they'll have to actually design the thing with utility in mind and not just slap another Berserker's power on top of half of its skills and pretend like good job is done. Honestly, it's likely Paragon will have the most viable damage builds in Warrior's arsenal, because it just brings utility. And weapons like Hammer, which desperately need utility to function, could really use that reliability boost. Who knows, maybe we'll even get a Condi build that doesn't automatically put you on every no-fly list in the entire world. And that's all because we're getting a support, and not another plus 25% damage bullshit. Thank Hydrated One for that. And also, a big sign of gratitude to all the generous supporters, continuously considering my dubious quality content worth their money. You're all truly welcome. Crabface out.